So I wanted to cover this real quick. I thought it was a pretty good backdrop to share a good message. And so just getting into it, I was on the scroll like a week ago, and I came up on a post featuring the dude Slimthug and this guy by the name of Mexican OT. And so, in the comments section, they were speaking about a number of things. For the most part, people were speaking on if they like, the guy's music or not, the Mexican OT dude. Some people said they didn't like it. Some people said that they did. But the reason why I wanted to make the video is because there was a dude that pulled up that apparently did like his music. And he had suggested that he believed the reason why he was not as successful as they believe he should be right now. He's not getting the recognition is because he's kind of like a Hispanic rapper in a lane that Hispanic rappers do not have a foot in, which is the commercial entertainment industry. And so I wanted to go ahead and speak on it because, I agree with a lot of what that person said. However, it's a little deeper than that, because at the root of it, man, the reason why dudes like that dude, Mexican OT, or any other potential Hispanic rapper that, could possibly be talented or has some talent, the reason why they struggle a lot in those lanes is because of their own community, all right? And I'm going to explain to y'all a little bit why. One thing they don't emphasize on out here, and there's a reason why they don't, okay? Because like I say, man, they like to make the best effort that they can to keep these people from really constructively dealing with so-called black people for the most part in general, okay? But they don't talk about how a lot of these other groups of people fail when they pull up to be successful in lanes that black people are dominant in or they have a lot of influence in. The reason why is because of their diplomatic relationship out here in reality, okay? It's real easy. Out here in reality, the Hispanic community, they're not diplomatic with black people at all, for real. Okay? And I'm not talking about the here and there's or your friend at work or, none of that. Collectively, they typically are very vile towards so-called black people. They worse than the white folks, and I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. But that's the relationship, And, you will be confused by this if you are taking what you see online seriously, because the truth is, man, you see somewhat of a difference online because, a lot of these other groups of people can safely pull up and indulge in on what they value about us, away from a lot of the criticism they fear they might face out here in reality, okay? Even stuff like, they're women, all right? Because I could be honest with y'all, man, a lot of content that I be making, about relationships and stuff like that, a lot of Hispanic women be pulling up liking it, okay? And so you see a little difference out here because they can do this stuff away from the criticism and judgment that they might face out here with their people. But online is different. You know what I'm saying? But when it's like that, okay, it doesn't matter how they try to script these various different other groups of people over there with black folks over there in that industry, they're going to struggle on average for real all the time. Okay, when you look out here in reality and the diplomatic relationship is kind of like what you see out here. Okay? And that's just the truth of the matter. It's really not a lot really to speak on it. Well, we could speak a little more in depth on it, but that's the reason why. And just going back to explaining that, a lot of times these Hispanics are more racist than white people, or not bigoted. Let me get that right. Than so-called white people. When you look at, because the truth of the matter is, man, and it ain't saying much. Okay, it ain't saying much. Okay, but the truth of the matter is, outside, so-called black people, they are they are way more diplomatic with white people over any other group. That's just the truth. And we're talking about here in this country. We're not talking about collective Caucasians, but when it comes to so-called black people, all right, the people that they work with, get along with the best is so-called white people, And with that said, when you kind of like look at, so-called white people and their success in various different lanes when it comes to so-called black people, them getting in lanes and winning in places where so-called black people are more dominant and influential in, they win the most among all other groups. And that's a reflection of the fact that, even though it ain't about nothing, and like I said, it ain't saying much, it's a reflection of the relationship that they have with so-called black people. All right? And so, yeah, man, I wanted to go ahead and say that because that is not talked about enough. A lot of these other groups that put these other people up front because they believe in them or whatever, they be sitting around thinking that they being shortchanged or, these things are happening. Y'all shortchange yourself, okay? Because in my opinion, man, for these people to be so strong, how they are out here in public, all right, you would think that they wouldn't have no care or want to be involved in so-called black culture at all. All right, but the truth of the matter is they stay pulling up for it. But they need to know that. Other groups of people need to know that. Like, whether you like it or not, it's just like social mathematics. You can't expect to really have any weight in any lane a game that so-called black people are more influential or dominant in, even if they don't run it, okay, and think that you're going to be successful. You know what I'm saying? That ain't happening for real on average, okay? Just look at the history, and for a lot of y'all other groups out there, just look at some of your peoples that you believe should be up front, but they can't get up front and they can't be taken seriously. All right? Y'all are not diplomatic out here in these streets, and we're not asking for it either, but I just wanted to go ahead and give the explanation, all right, so that it is known. It's 300.